to rise. Both of these rivers are expected to crest around 8 p.m.
We're
tonight.
seeing here in the Asheville area after Tropical Storm Helene.
To show you just how heavy the water was.
The city of Asheville, North Carolina, right here is in a shambles. Buildings and roads.
It's catastrophic. It's absolutely catastrophic.
Hurricane Helene was absolutely devastating to MANNA Food Bank. We had, of course, heard the warnings about the storm being the storm of the century. And so the morning of the storm, I was obsessively checking the river gauges to see just how high the river was going. The alert said essentially that the water level had exceeded the highest gauge and that there would be no more readings. We knew that it had flooded and that it had flooded much higher than we had expected, but we didn't know how bad. On Sunday, we were able to come out. There were power lines down everywhere. There was food hanging from trees. Tractor trailers were laying in the road, blocking the road. It was an unparalleled devastation just everywhere you looked.
Our facility was a complete loss. We didn't have a warehouse, we didn't have a loading dock. Seeing the magnitude of loss of food, I think that was one of the hardest parts, is seeing that loss of food.
As soon as we knew that we couldn't rescue what we had, we knew we had to pivot and focus on, all right, how do we get resources in to be able to support the community? So immediately we started talking to our partners through Feeding the Carolinas, through Feeding America, to say, how can we get resources into the area?
One of the major roles of Feeding the Carolinas is disaster relief and support. And never before in the history of Feeding America has an entire Feeding America food bank been absolutely destroyed. We are working to help them, go alongside them to pour in resources, working with the state, working with funders and foundations and individuals just to see what we can do to pour in resources. And that's the beauty and the strength of the Feeding the Carolinas network.
The farmers market was phenomenal. They reached out right away, said, we have space, we want to help. We set it up so we could take donations in the morning and then turn around in the afternoon and give them right back out. The MANNA network and the people of this region came through in such amazing ways. We were able to build and build on that distribution, and ultimately we were serving at the height about 1,800 families a day.
MANNA has been extremely crucial these past few weeks because they never stopped. And MANNA made sure to keep bringing supplies in so that folks who were hit by Helene or weren't, but are still hungry, MANNA made sure to keep feeding folks no matter what.
MANNA Food Bank has been serving this community for 40 years, and that's not going to stop now. Within the first week, we had a new warehouse secured. We were able to get an emergency lease, and then ultimately we hope to buy that warehouse to be able to have that be our new home for operations.
This warehouse was empty 2 weeks ago, and now there's over 2 million pounds of food in it. The response from everybody has been incredible.
Seeing MANNA Food Bank go from this devastation that we're seeing and losing an entire building to be back up and running and supporting 16 counties in a matter of days is beyond incredible.
The recovery process is not going to be over in the next few weeks, not in the next few months. We know that this is going to be a long road to recovery. Our goal is to bring the community together for this recovery so that we can work collectively to build a sustainable future where we have a strong local food system and where no one goes hungry.